My name is Dwayne. I guess a little background on me is I grew up in a non-Christian home. Even though my mother was around, she liked to party. So when she had me, she was 20 years old, so she was kind of still doing her thing. And I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother was what we call in New York City the number runner. Now what the number runner was is, it's like the lotto. Do you have the lotto here? Yeah. But it was more on the illegal side, where they ran horses and, you know, when the horses come out, you know, she did stuff under the table. So when I was young, I was around that, and my uncle was the right-hand man to a gentleman by the name of Nicky Bonds, and he was like a big drug dealer in the city and bodyguard for a secular artist named Dougie Fresh. And so I was around all of these people, you know, when I was young, 4 or 5 years old, coming up and seeing all of these things. So I basically said all of that to say, you know, I was basically, and I tell people this all the time, I was in training to be a criminal. Like Marcus said, you know, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. Well, I was being trained to, you know, basically do everything up under the sun illegal. So from there, growing up, I went to high school. 3 years in high school, I was entering my 4th year. I did not have 1 credit in high school. I did not go to school at all. A part of my life, and it's very pivotal house, and you know, we were drinking and doing everything, and his mother came and said, I know when they used to call me Bean, that was, you know, the alias I had. Now my alias is Slave, but in the world it was Bean. And she said, I know every time you're in my house, because when you're in my house, there's cursing. I could hear you a mile away cursing. So that stuck with me. And a friend of mine was dating a girl, and we used to always talk, and I used to always be around her, and I said, I need you to hook me up with one of your friends. And she was like, I have somebody for you. So time went on, about 6 months went on. And I said, well, what happened to that girl you were supposed to hook me up with? I'm single, I'm ready to, you know, do whatever. So she introduced me to this girl, and now who's my wife. And when she introduced me to her, it was like, I used to hang around her, and she told me first, she said, I'm a missionary. And me not knowing anything about church, I was like, oh, that's great, you know. My only concern was, I'm gonna, you know, do everything to you. You don't know this, but and when she said she's a missionary, it went above my head, like, okay, that's great, you know, wonderful. So we began just talking over the phone, and she dared me. She said, I bet you can't stop cursing. And in the back of my mind, I thought about, you know, my friend's mother. And I said, and one thing about me, I used to hate when you dared me. Like if you said I can't do it, I made an effort to do it. So I was like, I could do it. So it was like I made the effort to stop doing that. And she would say, I bet you can't stop smoking weed, and I bet you can't stop doing this and that. And I'd be like, yes, I can. So I made the effort through her daring me to stop doing those things, not knowing that I was sanctifying myself, that the God of peace has sanctified me holy. So she just kept daring me, but I will always, you know, do it one time, you know, not as much, and you know, we'll just try it once. So I couldn't keep myself. You know, I needed God to keep me. But through those little actions, you know, I would was trying to better myself. And so the transition kind of came through that. And one day I went to a youth night, and they had like a street ministry. So I went to the street ministry, and you know, I saw a whole bunch of young people, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, you know, you seeing young people having fun. This is kind of like not the church that, you know, I saw like, you know, with something new. And so I went one Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday I went, and then the next Wednesday I went. And her mother said, you know, you could come on a Sunday morning. So that was the Wednesday when she made that statement, you know, after 2 or 3 Wednesdays going. So on that Wednesday, that Friday, my best friend, we wanted to go to a party. And he kept telling me, because I'm always late, he kept saying, don't be late. I'm going to pick you up at such and such a time. Don't be late for the party. When I get there, you better be there. Be ready. Be dressed. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to party. So I was like, all right, man. And he just, I don't know, he just kept edging. You better not be late. So went to this party that Friday night, and I mean, I had a good time. I sweated. You know, I had a great time at this party. So Sunday morning, now the Sunday that, you know, the mother invited me to, it comes up to that Sunday. The preacher preached, don't be late for the party. And I was just sitting there like, wait a minute, like, that's crazy, you know? And he was saying in the essence, in the service, you know, don't be late for heaven. Prepare yourself for this grand party. So, you know, that was kind of the message that kind of let me know that, wait a minute, God is real. And I started, you know, to, realize that there was some, you know, a higher power looking over me. And then I started looking at scenarios in my life, like certain things that my associates would do, God would keep me from it. Like, they would go rob a store. And for some reason, like, God will have me go over here, or, you know, I'll go shopping to the supermarket. And then you hear the story like, yo, we went in and, you know, the cops came and everybody got, and I was like, wow, I was supposed to be there. So all of those things, I started saying, wow, like, God he's really looked over my life all this time. So that's kind of me stepping into the church. And there's the other part of it is when I got into church, it was sort of like Israel in Egypt. And I still had a lot of, you know, Pharaoh was delivering the army, you know, the children of God, and they were walking, and they was like, it was better in Egypt. Like, you have us out here, you know, doing all of this. We can eat well and do all of these things in Egypt. So that's kind of the mentality I brought with me into the church. Like, I was like, it's fun over there. Like, this is not everything where I thought it was. So I was still in the church, drink, still party, still do all of those type of things until one day I was just so convicted and got tired of living like the double life. Because like I had saved friends, but then I still had my other friends, you know. So it was like, when I'm around my saved friends, I had to put on cologne because I just got finished doing what I did with the other friends. So it was kind of like a struggle living a double life. So I got tired of doing all of that because I knew God. One thing that it jumped off the page for me while I was in the church. God saying that I not only saved you because of grace, I saved you also for purpose. And I started realizing, like, there is purpose on my life. And I started looking at, you know, my surroundings, and I was like, well, God, I want to be able to, these people I'm hanging out with, I want to be able to minister and relate to them, because nobody's relating to them. Nobody's reaching them, you know. And I was sharing with the brothers, you know, earlier today, is like, sometimes when you're speaking to individuals, the lingo and the jargon just don't match. And you could talk to a young person and you could say, oh, that's cool. And they're like, in the back of their mind, they're like, he just said that's cool. We're using this word now. You know, we don't use cool anymore. You know, so I was like, well, I want to be able to relate to my surroundings, the community I came from. So that's kind of where purpose shifted in my life. And that was kind of like the transformation. And I even, like, I was sharing again with the brothers earlier today, with my ministry, I started taking, because I was rhyming for God, but not really dedicated to Him. So God then, He let me know, like, there's nothing that I take away from you that I can't replace. And one of the songs I have is No Drinks, We Don't Need Drinks, We Don't Need Smoke, because we're already drunk. And I used to always resort back to these things because I felt I needed it, you know, in order to have a good time, when God was saying, I've supplied all your needs, and anything that, you know, that I've taken from you, I can replace with a greater joy. So during that process, I hooked up with this gentleman, Marcus Hall. He used to see me, you know, minister around, and, you know, he was a promoter doing events, so he used to often say, you know, come through and, you know, do 2 songs and, you know, whatever have you. And then from there, he said, he came to me one day, wow, I really wanted to do a work for God. I wanted to really say, you want to know what? I want to build something. So in my mind, I was going to just do everything on my own, you know, but God placed him in my life where he said, listen, you have this ultimate talent, but no one knows about it. Like, you're sitting on your gift. Let me hold your ministry, and I'm going to kind of let the world see what God has placed into you. So that's part of, like, the reason why I'm here, is because of, you know, God using him to, for me to be able to display the gift that God has given me. And that's kind of in a nutshell of why I'm here, and I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you guys opening your doors to us, and, you know, making us feel comfortable. In my spirit is huge, because sometimes you even go around believers and you feel uncomfortable. You know, you feel like, wait, I have to pray right now because they're looking at me funny, you know? You have to kind of put on the extra show, you know, the extra, you know, well, you know, I have to. So I feel good that I feel very comfortable. I'm excited about the opportunity that you guys are allowing us to share our ministries with your young people, and also with yourselves, because I feel that me personally, you can't deny the Spirit of God. When it's in the room, you feel the energy and the anointing of God, because I'm not the biggest rock fan, but I could go to a rock concert and hear and feel. When I say, you know, share with your young people, I'm also excited to share the ministry with you guys, you know.
As always.
So, and I went on tour with a gentleman by the name of Curtis Blow. He's like one of the first hip hop pioneers. And on the tour, I came back and it like God like hit me. He said, "Wait a minute, this guy is 52 years old and he enjoys hip hop. Like, you know, hip hop is for everyone. You know, you just have to.
Hey, be careful now.
I hope they put us down before we get to 52.
You know, so.
I don't want to be getting old, do we?
Again, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And
It's really cool.
this
Oh, cool.
I can go on and on. I'm long with it.
It's not cool. Oh, it's lovely.
Thank you.
It's really encouraging, you know, because we do have a number of young people who are saved, but they're still going out and doing the Egypt has got a big hold on them right now. So what you've been telling us is really encouraging, because you know sometimes I don't know, you almost despair and you come on, you know. But thank you.
Yeah.